Went out today, got me some old rims and tires. Well, more so just the old rims. The tires I'll give to a buddy of mine, he recycles. But got me some old tires to make me a handful of wood burning stoves. So I'm going to make a wood burning stove. One for here, one from a campsite, and one for another location. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So I'm using 15-inch rims. Whatever size rims you decide to use, make sure they're the same size so that they could match up pretty good. So the first thing we want to do is get the handy Grandy sander, and we sanded the edges so that when we start welding we could have a good weld. So we've sanded all around both rims. We're going to put them on top of each other and we'll go ahead and start welding it together. So we have filed down the edges on the spots where they meet. So we'll go ahead and see whether we can get a bead and then try running around all of it. Okay, we've got it welded together. It's not the best and perfect weld, and I'm not a welder, but hey, I'll take it. So now I've got those two rims welded together. I'm going to get my cutting torch, and I'm going to cut a hole in here to where I can stack my wood down in there. That's where my wood will burn. I can put my cast iron pot right over here, either on this side or the other side. I'll have to see. I'll probably on the other side. Let that be the side to draw air. There you go. I can put my pot right here and we'll be in business. So let's go ahead and get that cutting torch and get to cutting. So I've drawn in where I'm gonna cut. I was gonna cut there, but it looks a little too small. When I get this log, I want it a little bit bigger so I can put multiples in there without having to fight it. And if the fire is already going and I've got to feed it, I want enough room that I can work with. So I made it a hole a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and we'll cut that out and see how she goes. Okay, so we have cut that hole in there. Not gonna touch it because it's super hot. But once it cools down, I'll come with the sander and I'll sand these edges off and we'll see how she goes. Just for fun. There you go. That wood fits right down in there. So now, since this, I normally cut my firewood 16 to 17 inches because my fireplace takes about a 17-inch. So now this is a 15-inch rim. So I'm gonna have to now cut my firewood to about 13-14 inches just for this. So my in the house is still gonna be 16-17, but for this fire pit I'm gonna have to cut it down to about 13-14 inches. Okay, just as a test run, I've made a little makeshift sand spot. Put on 2 cinder blocks. We'll try to load it up with some wood, give it a light, and see how it runs. So there's the stove. It's working. The flame is a little high, but once the wood burns down and we get a good bed of coal, we should be able to let it cook with a bed of coal. Okay, so there's my cast iron pan. It's an old one that was sitting in the garage, so just put a little water in it, put it on there, and we'll let that water boil, clean that pan up, and we'll be in business. I think I'll make a little grate to put on top of it so that the pan don't sit all the way down. But we're looking good. I like it. So water is starting to boil. So we in business, folks. We got ourselves a homemade wood burning stove. It don't get no better than that. So we ready to cook. Ready to throw some hot dogs on there. Once I get this pond cleaned up, I'll get some hot dogs in there and get ourselves some hot dogs for dinner. I might even, who knows, I might even do a pan fried steak tonight. Well, that wasn't a whole lot of effort. Just like that, you could make your own wood burning stove for a grid down situation or any type of emergency. You just throw it in the garage and pull it out whenever you need it. But just like that, very simple, very straightforward. But you guys have a wonderful day. This smoke is blowing back on me. Have yourself a good time and take care of yourself. Adios.